Today I'm going to show you guys how to write a symbolism analysis paragraph. So far you've learned how to write a figurative language paragraph with Still I Rise and a diction paragraph with Still I Rise. And the last type of device that we're going to be covering this semester, well actually no, that's not true. The third device we're going to be covering this semester is symbolism. So we're going to talk about how to write a symbolism paragraph because, again, depending on the device that you are analyzing in an essay, it's going to look much different in your links and in your evidence sentences. So we're going to write an entire MEL-LCON on Still I Rise using symbolism. So watch this video and try to understand how to write using the device or analyzing the device of symbolism. In the poem, so we're going to write our main idea, Still I Rise, by Maya Angelou. Angelou uses symbolism to show, we're still talking about race relations, the theme of race relations. And to prove, we're going to reword that thematic statement again, how all people should maintain one's personality and true beauty, even when they are treated unfairly. Just because of the color of their skin. All right, so remember we're talking about race relations and this idea that people should not let basically racism bring them down, that they should rise above it. So we just reworded that thematic statement, and now we're going to move on with the evidence sentence, and we're going to choose the symbol of the sun in this paragraph as seen in Still I Rise, the sun, and also the dream. Okay, so both of these things are archetypes that commonly represent greater ideas as seen in texts throughout time. So we need a transition, and now we want to introduce this quote with context so the reader of this essay understands where this quote is coming from. When describing how others in her past would continuously kick her around, she says that she is like a sun. We want to make sure that we cite it. It's from line 9. All right, now we want to explain it. Now let me just give you a precursor. For this link 1, you should always try to do one sentence. However, I felt like I needed to break these ideas down in 2 sentences, which is okay too. Just make sure you're not going on and on needlessly and being too wordy. So, a sun is an archetype that often represents the ideas of a new beginning and of joy. All right, so I'm analyzing in link 1. I'm mentioning what the symbol is, and I'm also analyzing what it commonly represents. Not every symbol that you talk about in an analysis paragraph is going to be an archetype, but a sun is definitely an archetype. Remember, an archetype is a common symbol that's meant the same thing throughout time and in a variety of different texts. So I'm just mentioning what suns normally represent. Now I'm going to tie it to the sun in this poem. Keeping this in mind, through symbolism, the reader learns that the speaker does not let others bring her down. And we'll see this, bring her down. As she continues to be joyful and renew herself after receiving mistreatment. Okay, so we're talking about what does that symbol mean in context of this poem. She's calling herself a sun, which symbolizes the idea of joy and of being new, coming up even when something bad happened, like a birth, rebirth type of idea. So let's continue on with link 2. We got to tie this evidence and this analysis to the theme and the thematic statement. This example shows the theme of race relations. We always want to mention that theme because all people should stay true to themselves like speaker in this poem. And they should combat societal stereotypes. Oops, not steroids. Stereotypes with no signs of weakness to the outside world. Okay, so we can see this because a son has the positive meaning attached to it, that if you're calling yourself a son, that means that you're not weak, you're strong, you're powerful. We probably could have even added that to our analysis, but I like how we added that in link 2. Now we got to keep proving our main idea, so we need that second piece of evidence. This time we're going to talk about the dream and how that's a symbol. To continue on, and now we want to introduce this evidence. Despite the difficulties, sorry, I'm typing with my iPad and I'm not used to that, so I'm messing up a lot. Despite the difficulties she has encountered in life, she says, I am the dream. And I'm going to cut out the part about the hope because I'm not focusing on that. I'm just focusing on this symbol of the dream. So whenever I want to cut some part out of the quote, I just use these ellipses and it shows that I took something out of the original quote of the slave. Just want to spell out what just she is the hope dream for. All right, so I'm going to use this link 1 sentence. Remember, we want to identify what the symbol is. We want to analyze what it represents and what meaning that adds to the story and to the speaker. So let's do that. Since dreams is often a symbol that represents a promising future, right? If you have a dream, not a promising growth future, a promising future, the reader can infer that the speaker believes, sorry, I got a little bit lost. The reader can infer that the speaker believes that her attitude and response to racism will help shape, and now I'm getting to that meaning, a better future, like a hope represents a better future for herself and her entire race. That's why she says the hope for the slave. Okay? Alright, now let's do link 2. Got to tie this evidence to the theme and the thematic statement again. Once again, this shows the theme of race relations because she believes that if people would embrace their ethnicity instead of hiding from discrimination, the world will become a better place. All right, so we're talking about that idea of how people should not hide from discrimination, how they should not wallow in it and be sad, but rather embrace themselves, and that will help make the world a better place for the minority, specifically here for African Americans. So now we need a concluding sentence that just dream. Sorry, this is bothering me. There. Now we need a concluding sentence that reviews what the whole paragraph is about. So we just need to restate our main idea in a new and fresh way. Don't forget that transition. To conclude, the theme of race relations is shown by Angelo in her poem, Still I Rise, by using symbolism and archetypes, because that's really what we're talking about here, to prove that despite hardships and hate thrown at a person, he or she can empower himself or herself to rise above the negativity. Right? Still I rise. And that's how you write a symbolism paragraph.